nation. Hebrew kingdom building.
Who I read the Torah portion? Who read the Torah portion? All right, Nathaniel, what it look like? $100, hallelujah. All praise to the Most High. All praise to Yahuwah. That's a through thing. That's a through thing. All right, so this Torah portion that started with Bereshit 44, but it started right off at verse 18. Where Yehuda was pleading basically for Yehuda basically was pleading on behalf of Benjamin to Joseph, and Yehuda basically offered himself up instead of Benjamin. Because y'all remember Joseph did this whole thing where he acted like that he stole his cup. So he's like, yeah, well, he's staying with me. And so Yehuda had actually went and started pleading, like, please, just take me. Because what this was showing is like, man, Yehuda actually really caring about somebody else, above himself. He actually really cared about what his father thought. Because it didn't seem like he cared about what his father thought back 13 years ago when he did what he did to Joseph. You see what I'm saying? But what this showed Joseph was that man, he actually did care. He did have remorse, Because he's like, nah, just take me. I'll just take me as a slave. Don't take him. Because I can't see my father, go through this again. He already went through this with his other son, Joseph. And, Judah's saying this and pleading with him, and it's like, this is Joseph he's talking to. He don't realize this, but, that was Judah's idea to sell Joseph into slavery. See what I'm saying? So it's like Joseph sitting there looking at this. He's like, man, I didn't think I thought they could care less. He's like, no, take me instead. And Joseph knew it was legitimate because all they know, this is like president of Egypt. They don't even know he an Israelite. So he was for real because Egypt is all about taking people in slavery. So no, he was really trying to do that. He was trying to offer himself up instead for Benjamin. You see what I'm saying? And so that's what caused Joseph to break. He couldn't keep it up no more. That did it. It broke him. He was like, man. He said, everybody leave me. That's how much nobility Joseph was. That's nobility. When you can say that and everybody, get out the way. Oh yeah, that's nobility. Everybody leave now. Everybody left. So he can cry. And then he actually revealed himself to his brothers. He was concealed, then he revealed himself to his brothers. Y'all, I'm Joseph. Yeah, it's me. Yo, I'm Joseph. Hey, y'all, but don't trip. It's cool. It was the Most High's will. You know what I'm saying? The scriptures say that they just stood. They couldn't even speak. They like, what? Yeah, but it's cool. Don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look, I'm a father to Pharaoh. Look, we through. Don't trip. We through. I got y'all. They just like, the scriptures say they couldn't say nothing. They couldn't. It's like, But like we talked about last week, I submit that Joseph wasn't supposed to do him like that, y'all. He wasn't supposed to do him like that. He just wasn't. That was more some flesh in there while he was doing that. See what I'm saying? Now everything, the way the Most High works things out, everything that happen, happens according to His will. But what I'm saying is, his flesh kicked in on that, y'all. I submit to y'all, his flesh kicked in on that because of what he went through, because of the trauma. And he moved, he didn't 100% move in the way that he should have once he got into the position that the Most High set him up in. I submit that he was supposed to just receive them. He's supposed to just receive, because y'all got to understand, man, look, like, Yaakov had went through a lot because of what Joseph doing this stuff. Like, Yaakov like, nah, y'all finna take Benjamin too? Judah had to, man, yeah, just look, man, the dude, he said, what do, and, I mean, we ain't gonna have no food unless we take him. Unless we take him, we gotta take him. He had to, and Joseph was just, and Yaakov was his hands was tied. He couldn't, and so you can imagine the stress. That's just more stress you putting your father through. You know what I'm saying? He just shouldn't have did all that. That was a lot of flesh that kicked in with that. And so what we see is that, but he did it, nevertheless, he did it. And but now Joseph, he's convinced now, I submit, that's what really made him just be like, you know what, I'm gonna stop all this. Once he saw Judah really plead and bring out about his father and stuff like that, and how once he heard about how his father, how sad he was about losing him, I think that just really did it. Because I told y'all in the past, all he know, his father was in on it. He might have had an ought for his father, because why put your father through that again in the first place? With Simeon and all that stuff like that, and man, you got the power to get your father, to get everything, to make everybody through, but you take everybody through with this whole thing, you know what I'm saying? That probably was like, ain't no telling how long it was. It might have been like months. And he didn't care. I really don't think he cared, because that was a big chance that he took. By like, yeah, y'all, if y'all don't come back with Benjamin, don't come back here. His brothers were cold. They could have been like, oh, well, we ain't going back up there. We got the food, we through, It could have been like, yeah, Pharaoh, my father, man, look, so it is what it is. But nevertheless, he made it back. So we have this whole thing that's going on here that's very interesting, this whole dynamic. We had this whole dynamic that's very interesting. So then you go into, so chapter 45 is when he was revealed to his brothers. And then we go into chapter 46, where it goes into Yaakov's journey to Mitzrayim. So let's look at verse 1.
Sheet 46, verse 1. Everybody there? So Israel took his journey with all that he had and came to Beersheba and offered sacrifices to the allure of his father Isaac. Then the Lord spoke to Israel in the visions of the night and said, Jacob, he said. And he said, here I am. So he said, I am Elua, the allure of your father. Do not fear to go down to Mizraim, but I will make of you a great nation there. I will go down with you to Egypt, and I will also surely bring you up again. And Joseph will put his hand on your eyes.
So Yaakov gave an offering, and then the Most High visited him and told him, don't be afraid to go to Mitzrayim. And so he went on and went. He listened to the Most High. The Most High visited him and told him, because in the past, it wasn't really a through thing to go to Mitzrayim. Abraham went to Mitzrayim and ran into all those issues. And then Yahuwah just specifically told Yitzhak, don't go to Mitzrayim, when there was a famine that hit. Now Yaakov's in a situation, the famine hits again. Ain't that interesting? Abraham, a famine hit, he went to Mitzrayim, Egypt. Yitzhak, a famine hits, he was about to go, I submit, because the Most High had to visit him and tell him, no, do not go to Mitzrayim. Stay here and I'm going to provide for you. And that's when Yitzhak went through the whole thing with the wells and all those things like that. Yaakov, another famine. And Yahuwah visits him and says, no, go to Mitzrayim. Don't be afraid. Oh, I'm going to actually make you a great nation there. So he went. So he went. Let's keep going.
Okay, verse 5. Then Jacob arose from Beersheba, and the sons of Israel carried their father Jacob. Their
What
little
verse
ones.
are you on?
Verse 5.
Okay, hold on.
Okay. Then Jacob arose from Beersheba, and the sons of Israel carried their father Jacob, their little ones, and their wives, in the carts of which Pharaoh had sent to carry him. So they took their livestock and their goods, which they had acquired in the land of Canaan, and went to Egypt, Jacob and all his descendants with him, his sons and his sons' sons, his daughters and his sons' daughters, and all his descendants he brought with him to Egypt.
All right, so now it goes into the names of all the descendants that are about to go into Egypt. It's basically like Mitzrayim is Mitzrayim or Egypt means the place of bondage. But this is what Mitzrayim is. It's like Sheol. It's like the belly of the beast. It's like the womb. It's the belly. See what I'm saying? And so they had to go into Mitzrayim, the womb, Sheol. It's like the belly, in order to be birthed out as a nation, in order to grow into a nation. See what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yasharel always became a nation while in captivity. That's because it's symbolic of the womb. You see what I'm saying? The womb. Right now, our baby, she's in the womb and she's growing and growing but she's restricted. You know what I'm saying? It's like a captivity. And it's an appointed time when it's time to come out of captivity. You see what I'm saying? But it's not until, you can't come out of captivity. You can't be birthed out you can't come out of captivity until you are a nation. Listen, y'all know that we is prophesied not to come out of this captivity until we a nation. Good Bereshit 15. The Yahuwah promised, the 400-year prophecy, we're going to come out as a great nation with many possessions. So if ain't nobody united, if we're not getting together trying to build a nation here, guess what? Ain't no coming out of captivity. That don't line up with the prophecy. This is the pattern. Think about it. What happened with Yaakov? When he went under the captivity of Laban, remember he was under Laban for 21 years? And it was like a captivity, wasn't it? Laban was a harsh master. It was like slavery. Didn't remember? Yaakov said, "Hey, I work with you I work for you for 7 years. I work for you for another 7 years. I work for you." That was like slavery. During that time is when he had all the 12 tribes of Yasharel. It was during that time when he had the wives and where where the nation was birthed. See what was built while he was working under Laban, while he was in captivity. It wasn't until all the tribes were birthed and the family was fully built and established, then Yahuwah visited Yaakov and said, "Time to come out." That was a birthing. It wasn't until the whole tribes of Yasharel were established before Yaakov could come out. He went in as one person and he came out as a whole family, a whole nation. You see what I'm saying? That's the concept. That's the idea. That's the pattern. That's the pattern. That's the pattern. Y'all know that even happened with Abraham. Okay, what happened with Abraham? He went down to the promised land. Then a famine hit the land, right? A famine hit the land. Then what did he do? He went to Mitzrayim. What did he do when he went to Mitzrayim? He said, "Hey, Sarai." Who is Sarai? Ain't Sarai the bride? Okay. That symbolize Yasharel? Don't that symbolize the assemblies? The bride. He said, "Tell him you my sister, because if you don't, man, they'll take me out. They'll steal you and take me out." So she like, "Bet. Yeah, that's my sister right there." Are they like, "Oh, for real?" All right, we'll take her. And guess what? She was under Egyptian captivity. without outside of her will, they took her. They took her, didn't they? This is the pattern. And then they were, who knows how long they was in Egypt, because it was outside of their will now, because they had Sarai. Pharaoh and them had Sarai. It took Yahuwah visiting Pharaoh, like, yeah, you need to let her go. You need to let her go. And then what happened? Pharaoh's like, nah, y'all gotta go. And guess what? They came out with great possessions, and they came out, they went in as a small, and they came out as a great company. The scriptures say that they have all these hundreds and thousands of herds and flocks now, all these possessions. They went in as like common folks, came out like as nobility. It's symbolic of them coming out as a nation. That's the symbolism. You see what I'm saying? And so this is what's happening with Yaakov now. Now Yaakov, it's a similar situation. Yahuwah visited Yaakov. He's like, Yosef. Well, with the children of Israel. Yahuwah visited Israel, Yaakov, and said, yeah, don't worry about it. Go ahead and go to Egypt, because I'm gonna make you a great nation now. That's the womb. That's the belly, the womb. Mitzrayim, a place of bondage. Sheol. It's the whole symbolism of even like Jonah. 3 days and 3 nights in the belly, in the womb. Jonah was 3 days, 3 nights in the belly of the beast, and then he came out, it was at the appointed time where he came out, he was spit out. And what happened after he was spit out? Now he was moving and doing the ministry, prophesying and doing what he was supposed to do. All right, let's keep going.
Where was I at? Verse 6.
Yeah, verse 8. So don't read verse 8. So that goes through the genealogies, and of all who are going into Mitzrayim. And it was a total with Yaakov and his family, 70, right? So how many nations are in Genesis 10? 70. That's the number of surrounding the nations. I submit that was about these people are going to have dominion over the nations. These people will have dominion over the nations. Oh, what about the long? Number 3 or 30? Oh, 70, not the Lamed. I think the Lamed is number 30. Yeah. All right. Let's read verse 28, chapter 46, verse 28.
Sir.
Okay.
Okay, verse 28. Then he sent Yehudah before him to Joseph to point out before him the way to Goshen.
So they're leaving where they were at in Canaan, and they're going to this place called Goshen now. So this place called Goshen is interesting. This place called Goshen is a place where they're going to be preserved from this famine, from these judgments that are rolling out all across the nations. Yahuwah had set apart land for them in the midst of Mitzrayim, y'all. That's Goshen. Is this land? Goshen was this land that they could go, and that they would be preserved from the famine. The famine is basically an economic meltdown. In today's terms, a famine will be like an economic meltdown, total economic destruction. And so the Most High did it, and that's what the scriptures say. The Most High had all this stuff happen with Joseph, so there'll be a posterity saved for them, and basically so they could be they'll be preserved, and that their seed will be preserved through this famine. The death toll of this famine was probably crazy. Yeah, it's probably multiple thousands, because it was a very, very harsh famine. But keep going.
And they came to the land of Goshen, verse 29. So Joseph made ready his chariot and went up to Goshen to meet his father Israel. He presented himself to him, and fell on his neck and wept on his neck a good while. And Israel said to Joseph, now let me die, since I have seen your face, because you are still alive. Then Joseph said to his brothers and to his father's household, I will go up and tell Pharaoh and say to him, my brothers and those of my father's house who are in the land of Canaan have come to me. And the men are shepherds, for their occupation has been to feed livestock.
All right. So what this is showing is that the occupation of our patriarchs was what? Shepherds. Their occupation has been to feed livestock and to take care of flocks. Shepherds. Listen. We were shepherds, y'all. We were born and bred to be a people of shepherds. Moshe was a shepherd. King David was a shepherd. Yaakov was a shepherd. Yitzhak, Abraham. This is who we are as a people. And a lot of us ain't never barely owned a dog before, better yet, no. But it's in us to be it's in us to be shepherds, y'all. To have flocks and herds. It's about realigning with that, being able to realign with that, to our true selves. Being able to learn how to till the ground, produce your own food, process your own meat. Y'all, that's how you preserved from the famine. Yahuwah had set them up. Yahuwah had set up Yasharel so that they will always be through in the midst of the famine. They were all trained shepherds. And that was an abomination to Mitzrayim, and you're going to see how that works out for them. Because what happened in the Torah portion? Being a shepherd was an abomination to the Mitzrites. And so when stuff hit the fan, they run into the cities, weren't they? So let me ask you this. When all the Mitzrites had to sell their land, sell their livestock, and do all that, where was Yasharel during this time? Preserved, chilling in Goshen. The famine wasn't a thing for them. They knew how to shepherd. They knew how to managed their herds. They were in the most fertile land. They were in the set apart land that the Most High set apart for them in the midst of Mitzrayim. That stuff ain't affect them like that. So, with all that being said, what we see here is what biblical money is, though. Because what happened when they said the money failed? What did they do? They selling their land and their animals. You're starting to see where biblical money is. And so then you got Yasharel, they chilling in Goshen. What do they have? Land and livestock. They ain't have no need for nothing. I was wondering though, I'm like, so the Mizrahites had land and livestock to sell to Yaakov, to Joseph, but they said that being a shepherd is an abomination though. So I'm trying to understand that. How you have land and livestock, but you're not a shepherd. Y'all think about that? Like, how, I swear? Maybe they was hiring people to maybe they thought, because shepherds, that's like slave stuff. So maybe they had the Israelites doing that type of stuff and other slaves doing that. So that was abomination to them. Remember, even Pharaoh was like, man, y'all are shepherds? Hey, find some people that, man, they can be shepherds over my flocks. Right. Who can be chief over my flocks. You see what I'm saying? So that ended up being a thub skill. What'd you say? Just what? Oh, that's what you put in the chat? Eckhart. Because, man, they have flocks and herds, but they weren't shepherds, so that means they didn't know how to handle them. They didn't know. They just hired somebody to do that. So, man, look, they like, that's why we need to learn how to get our hands dirty and, like, man, like, know what I'm saying? Like, hey, look, the sheep about to have a baby, get Shoshone over there, get the baby, you gotta pull the baby out. You gotta, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, y'all gotta know how to do it. Even Orion like, I'll do it. I know even Orion got this. Think about Yaakov though. We talking about the spotted and speckled and what he did and all. Who you think was doing the work? Who you think, man? He probably was birthing them babies left and right. You get used to it. I mean, even the processing, processing your own animals. You know, I told y'all about how that was in Augusta. I was at they Sukkot, man. They processed the goat, and Malek was like, "I want all the sons down here, and they need to see this. They need to be a part of this." So we got all the sons for this Sukkot. We came and watched it. We processed the goat. It was interesting. I was like, man, it's gonna take some getting used to, but we got to learn how to do it. We got to do it. Go ahead, Ema.
I think they're gonna do it for Pesach with all the sons down there. And, yeah.
They're gonna do it as many times they had the chance to. They were probably gonna do it in the Sukkot too. We gonna learn these things. You know, I that's the Most High. Like, cause we got to learn how to be shepherds, like we do. I do believe that another reason why shepherds were abomination to Egyptians was probably because we killed animals that they worshipped. You know. Oh, we did? At God, see? Man, the sons and daughters, hallelujah. But, you know, we kill calves and bulls. We eat cheeseburgers. They literally worship that stuff. They worship bulls. They worship calves. So when you go and you look in, for example, modern day Buddhism, when they do the calf worship, that comes from Mitzrayim. I know in India and stuff, they'll worship rats and stuff too. But the cow was I think that's their biggest one, the cow or the bull and stuff like that. Yeah, that was from Mitzrayim. Then we saw something happen. We saw something interesting happen. So we saw Joseph. Yaakov makes it to Mitzrayim, right? Then Yaakov see the grandbabies. He's like, oh man, I'm through now. Not only have I seen I get to see my son again, I don't even see his seed. I got to live to see his seed. You know what I'm saying? But this is an interesting thing. I want y'all to think about this, y'all. I want y'all to think about this. Joseph did not make the cut for one of the 12 tribes. It passed down to his sons. There's no tribe of Joseph. You got the tribe of Ephraim and Manasseh. Man. All the other brothers made the cut to be one of the tribes of Yasharel. But it's almost like something happened to where it's like the Most High was like, yeah, maybe it might have been some stuff where he was like, yeah, I'm gonna pass that down to your seed. I'm gonna still bless you, but there's some stuff that you just didn't pass the test on. Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah. That and some of the ways he was kind of moving, you know what I'm saying? Different, you know. Like, yeah, kind of like what happened to the children of Israel in the wilderness. Like, yeah, hey, I promise y'all gonna make it to the promised land, but it's gonna be your children though. It's not because the way y'all moved wasn't through. You know, I'm gonna still make sure y'all make it as far as a people, but y'all generation didn't make the cut. I'm just gonna be the next generation though. Yaakov came and he blessed Manasseh and Ephraim, and they became of the 12 tribes. Not Joseph. Very interesting. Very interesting. I always looked at it in the past, reading the Torah portion. Oh man, that must mean they're giving him a double portion. I don't know. No, I'm looking at it. I'm like, I don't know. It is a double portion. I can see, you know. But your name isn't mentioned as one of the tribes. It's not your name. It's not Joseph. It went to your seed. You see what I'm saying? So that sounds more like a it can, you know, it could be a double-edged aspect to it. But it does, I do submit there was an element of, yeah, you didn't make the cut due to certain things to have your name as one of the tribes, like your brothers. He got lifted up, and the Most High blessed him as it was prophesied. But the way that he moves as soon as he got in there might have just made it to where it just, you know, because remember, the blessing comes from Ab. The blessings come from Ab. And there were some ways he was moving surrounding his Ab, y'all. There were some ways he was moving that wasn't the most through surrounding his Ab. He put his Ab through a lot. He was like, yeah, tell Benjamin, man, you know what I'm saying? He got to come or else. Or you know what? No, I'm going to keep him. Oh, y'all got to go. Y'all got to get. So his brother, man, his brother had to go down there and plead with his father. And his father probably was worried. They had to bring Benjamin way back up there. Instead of him just telling him the truth, his dad, 100 and something years old. And the blessings come from all. Remember, we looked at the breakdown of Baruch. Baruch. Bet Resh, the head of the house. Baruch. The blessings come from the head of the house. The Ab. It's in the word for bless. And so think about it. Everybody who didn't make the firstborn, everybody who didn't get the firstborn status is because of some way they moved with Ab, wasn't it? Yeah. Reuben laid with one of Ab's concubines or wives. You know, we already know the story. You know, Simeon and Levi, they had moved wrong with the way they did with the people. Right, surrounding Yaakov, yeah. And then when Yaakov confronted them about it, they was talking back. Yeah, nah, what? Yeah, should our sister be treated like a harlot? They didn't even address him, what he was bringing up. And then, then you have Joseph, who he had the coat of many colors. He was the one set apart. He was supposed to be that one. And then, he passed it seems like he passed a lot of the tests when he was, in captivity, but something when he got lifted up into that position. And listen, this is what y'all got to be careful on. Don't think that once the kabod comes that, now it's all through. Now I can be comfortable now. Yeah, I passed all the tests. Now we hear the kabod, the wealth. Now I can just be smooth now. No, you still gotta guard the commandments. You still gotta guard your thoughts. You still gotta guard your mind. Don't see, the temptation is when the blessings come is to be comfortable. It's to laxing up. You see what I'm saying? Be careful on that. Be careful, because it is time to transition. It is time. It is time, Mishpacha, to start, because I know we've been talking about it for a while, but it's getting very close, and y'all get your houses in order. Make sure you're getting your ducks in a row. Make sure you're getting the things lined up that's needed in order for you to make the transition, because it is time. It is time.
We close.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, that was all from my end. I'm done.
It's actually related to what we were talking about, because that actually really shifted my perspective too in reading the Torah portion when he was saying, okay, they gave all the money, then the money was gone, then they gave the livestock, then the livestock was gone, then they gave their land, and their land was gone. And then after that, it talks about in verse 21, it says, and as for the people, he moved them into the cities. And if you look at that, in some versions it says he made the people virtual slaves. So it just shifts my perspective on how when you're in the city, how you're so dependent on someone else for everything. And so, but I think in the Babylonian mindset, we have, the city, city girl or whatever, like it's such a great thing, but it's actually virtual slavery. You work to be able to pay for those things. And I was just going to share a word that came out that actually Bakir Yamin had received around last Shabbat. Just one part of it, though. It says, I come to take away captivity. I come to remove you from their cities. Man. So, yeah. Because at first you don't really think how captivity city, how is that connected? Wow. But this Torah portion kind of brought it out, how when you're in the city, you're so dependent. And I think, that's what the Most High is trying to give us, that freedom like you were talking about.
Yeah, because y'all just got to think about it, man. They don't let you do the things that makes you independent when you're in these cities. You can't have no wells. You can't have no flocks. Even if you can have a big old house with a big old yard, you still can't put no sheep back there. You can't.
HOA.
Because you don't need a whole lot of land for sheep. If you have a big backyard, you can put some flocks back there. You're not allowed to. No. They don't want you to have no garden in the cities. No, you just put green grass. What can you do with green grass? Soon as you try to put a garden in the front yard and to replace the green grass, HOA gonna be calling. Oh no, this is a HOA violation.
Got a problem.
Yeah. Oh man, we had so many issues with HOA. I didn't believe in just having green grass. I wanted the actual natural weeds to grow because a lot of them are edible. I did. I know y'all probably think I'm crazy. I did though. I wanted the dandelions and the natural weeds to grow because a lot of them are edible. And man, boy, they was giving us a hard time. No, we want you to kill all that and put green grass on it. You can't do nothing with that. I don't care about green grass. I care less about that. And even with trees, fruit trees, you know what I'm saying? So when we were living in the neighborhood, we at least was trying to have fruit trees. Like, man. So that was through, they can't tell you nothing about that. At least you could put it in the backyard. Yeah. They was through with that because wasn't nobody worried about doing that anyway because they already had everybody mind Babylonian lies anyway. But no, you made a through point though, because in this, so this is what they did. Our ancestors all had land when we were first released from slavery. We were getting land, we were purchasing land, but something happened. The nation systematically took us out of the land and moved us into the cities. Most of y'all, think about y'all grandparents or great-grandparents, if y'all knew them or at least heard of them, they were in the country. A lot of y'all. Yeah. Think about it. Just really think about it. A lot of y'all who grew up in the cities, y'all might have grew up in towns and in neighborhoods, but think about maybe if not your grandparents, your great-grandparents, or before that, they were in the country. They were not in the cities. They were on land. They knew how to farm. They knew how to do those things. My granddad can build a house. He can build his own house. Yeah, that's freedom. Try to build your own house in the neighborhood. Hey, hold on. Is this from one of the? Is this from Cooney Homes or one of the? Yeah, no. If it's not from one of these three builders, the developers, you can't build here. Even if you want to add on to your house, if you're in the neighborhood, you got to get approval. If you want to do a project, no, you got to call your HOA. So, it ain't perfect when you have land either. They be having restrictions, but I'm saying it's just way less, just on a whole nother level, though, than when you're in the neighborhoods. And we want to get out of this captivity. This is what we need to do. Yahuwah showed this to the Moleks years ago. I think we just kind of, because of all the distractions and a lot of things, we might have kind of forgot and kind of, maybe not forgot, but just kind of got distracted on that part of it. That this is the way out of the captivity, y'all. We got to be nation builders. Remember that we have to be a nation. We have to be a nation to get out of this captivity. Remember, the nation is built in the captivity. If we sit here, we still don't know how to do nothing. We still, not really united. We still not in that card. How's that gonna work? You see what I'm saying? This is how we get out. Heed the words from the Moleks. What they did, so when we came out of slavery, we all had land. But systematically, the nations systematically took the land from our ancestors through different ways, do different things, hike up taxes, loopholes. So when a person from that generation died, cause I saw it with my family. So when a person from who bought the land passes away, and he was like an ex-slave or maybe one generation from slavery, he didn't know maybe how to do the will stuff like he was supposed to or to do those things the way he was supposed to. So then they use loopholes to, they'll take that land, they'll build a highway to go run through it now, or they'll put a Walmart there now, and that was ancestral land, but it was through some sort of loopholes. Well, if we'll do this and we'll send these mails out, and if none of the ancestors respond, our descendants respond in 3 months, then we can take the land, we can seize the land. It was all kind of loopholes like that they were doing to what it's systematically, totally was taking all the land. Like it was at one point in time, I got to pull up the statistics where Hebrews in America, man, we own, like, it was one point in time where a large percentage of us own land. A large percentage of us. To the point to now where it's like none of us own land now. Hebrews in America, it's like almost zero. I don't even know if it's 1%. I got to look at it. Maybe it's in the single digits, I'll just say that. That's my guess. It's probably in the single digits at the most on land. And what happened? We got pulled out of, it's the same thing that happened to the Egyptians. We got pulled out of the land, and we ended up having to run to the cities. We had to run to the cities. Where do y'all think the projects came from? Ahmed was talking about it at Ebery Academy. What is projects? Government housing. Because the Pharaoh in Egypt said, okay, y'all just sell all your land and stuff and come and just work for us and we'll cover y'all. Come move in the cities and we'll provide housing for y'all. That's government housing. That's the projects. Who was filling up those projects? Hebrews, wasn't it? Think about it, almost in every major city in America. Who's filling up the projects? Even in Austin, a majority white city, but go down there to the projects. Go down there. What's the name of the project? I know Thurman Heights. What else, Go down there to them. What's the one on the east side, everybody? I forgot the, oh yeah, Booker T. I forgot. I forgot. There's our people there. And also a majority white city, but you go to the projects, that's what we there. It's majority us.
I have family living there right now. Like generationally, they just stay in the projects. Like they have an idea of getting out, and they never do anything to get out. So
that stuff, wow. That stuff crazy, y'all. And it's straight slavery. It's straight captivity. I mean, the projects, y'all already know. It's a lot of systemic stuff that goes on in there. I believe there's a whole lot of stuff, even more than we know. When you talking about them projects, they doing stuff to that water, because there's people dying of lead poisoning and stuff like that. It's all kind of stuff we don't be thinking about. Y'all got to understand how diabolically wicked the nations is when it come to our people. People getting lead poisoning all of a sudden in the projects. People, all of a sudden, this high rate of these certain diseases. Why is that happening? They doing stuff, y'all. Yeah, it's always by sewage or waste or some high radiation something going on. So that's why the Most High is blessing us to get back to who we truly are, a people of shepherds. Y'all talking about y'all don't want to live in the country, y'all don't want to move on land. Y'all know what the promised land was? I ain't trying to move on the country, man. It's boring, man. Ain't nothing out there. Them bugs and stuff, man. How you an Israelite talking like that? That's the promised land. It was the country, y'all. The promised land wasn't no city. Everybody got allotted land, literally. You just read the book of Numbers. Read the book of Joshua. When they went into the promised land, and then they casted lots based on the family you was from, and everybody was allotted land. That was true freedom. That was the sign of freedom from captivity, is when you get land. Our ancestors knew that even here. That's why when they came out of slavery, the first thing they tried to do was get land, because they knew, even though the Declaration or whatever they was, or whatever they called it, that caused us to be free from slavery, even though the papers say we free from slavery, our ancestors knew that if you don't have land, you're still gonna be a slave. You're not gonna have true freedom without having some sort of land. And the Torah teaches that. The Torah teaches that there's an association with land and freedom, and there's association with losing your land and captivity and being a servant. That's why we're going to read that, because we're going to start the book of Shemot soon, and you're going to see that in the Torah precepts surrounding servants. I think it's Shemot chapter 20, I believe. No, that's the Ten Commandments. It's right after that, like 25, around that, 22 to 25. It goes on the law surrounding servants. And usually, you know who the servants are? Someone who lost their land for some reason. That's who the servants are usually in ancient Yasharel. And there was these laws on how you had to treat them right. You had to make sure you don't act a certain way towards them. And in the year of Jubilee, that servant can be released so he can do what? Get his land back. There's an association with losing your land and servitude, even in Torah. And there's an association with being free and having your land back.
Double honors and honors. Salute, Ms. Parker. Now, I was just going to say that that's the immunite of it all. With even with the idea of you was saying, I'm going to give you this land, right? So he gave you the land. Everything that you do out of immunite helps to build it that much faster. So like Mujal is saying, you have to go and look at RVs, tiny homes, kind of get an idea of what you need to be saving or what you need to do. All of those things are immunite to where Yahuwah sees you doing it, and he'll start working favor for you. He'll start working on things because he sees that you're taking what he's giving you seriously. You're not taking it for granted. You're not looking at it like, oh, it's something that's not going to happen. You have immunah that Torah land is what it is, and that it's going to be built up, and that it's flourishing. And you see the end through that promise, and you begin to work, put your hands to the plow, doing the work to get to that promise and the steps and things that he's showing.
Come.
Shalom, double honors and honors. And I just wanted to add to what Bekir Ezer Uriah just said, that even if you go ahead and start doing the work and it doesn't turn out the way that you think it might, don't be discouraged. Because I always think about Zacharias and Elizabeth and how long they had been praying for a child. And it wasn't until their old ages when they were promised the child, and it was Yochanan the Baptist. So, but just continuing to walk in that imunah, knowing that Yahuwah told you to do this thing and it's going to work out in his will and in his way. So praise Yahusha.
Man, that's huge. That's huge. You want to say what you going to say? Oh, no. Yeah, that's, man. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah. Oh, go ahead.
What we both were thinking when you were talking was that's what happened with my aunt. She was praying, and wanting children. And she's 70 years old now. But she had her first child at 43, second at 45, and one of them is an NBA star. So, just imagine those odds, When they were in school, people thought she was their grandma. It's like, no, because of her age, not because how she looks. She don't look 70. She's older than my mom. So, praise you.
Okie dokie. Y'all put a lot in here today. All praise to the Most High. So we're going to go back to 519. So Mushala said, IN 70. Experiencing the power of the seed. IN. There were 70 of the Kodesh seed that went into Goshen. Man, hallelujah. Bethel.
Yeah, and also 70 is about the nation, so that's interesting anyway, because I know the word I think is I-M-M, the word for nations. But all right, we have to look into that.
Wait,
Was it Aleph Mem?
Yeah, strong leader of the nations.
Okay. That wouldn't apply then.
Bethel. Though it was an abomination to the Egyptians to be shepherds, Pharaoh told Joseph, if there is any competent men among them, to make them chief herdsmen over his livestock. Were his herdsmen not competent? That's a funny question. Seems like he didn't trust his herdsmen like that to take care of his livestock. Facts.
So there is an interesting. I need to look into this because you see this in Africa. So you have herdsmen and then you have shepherds. I don't know what the difference. There's a difference though, and so it might be something worth looking into.
Shoshone. Okay, Shoshone, can one of the regular customers at my job, wait, that's not right. Khan, one of the regular customers at my job is 19, owns a house and land.
Oh man.
Man.
Is he the other nations? Yeah, that's so crazy. That done trip me out. That's a real thing. I'm telling you. So crazy.
Mushala said, Lamed, shepherd staff. We are shepherds. And then she spelled the word Lamed. Controlling the nation's access. Oh, that's interesting. Being a shepherd was more than just an occupation. It was showing the level of authority Yashrael operated in. This is also an invasion. They literally set up a military stronghold, Goshen. They even put their men over Pharaoh's livestock, similar to how colonizers go in and put their people in power in other nations. Yes,
Man.
we see their level of authority with the taking of property and lands and forcing people to move into the cities, colonization.
Man. Yeah, that's that dominion.
Yeah, when you look, I never looked at it that way, but they went in, set up a stronghold, and then took over.
That's why the other Pharaoh was scared.
Yeah, that could be a thing. Yeah. Cause they was through. They was through in Goshen. It was just all the Egyptians was dealing with all that. Yeah, it's really interesting. It's like an invasion. I can definitely see that.
Yeah, that's amazing. I never thought of it. Yeah, that's really interesting. Radayahu, them being shepherds gave them food within a famine. This is why we have to be shepherds ruachally. We are in the middle of a ruachal famine. Big facts, man. You got something? Take that back to Radah.
We have to be shepherds physically too. That's what the final solution is about. It's about setting ourselves up to be able to have that dominion.
I was going to talk about how big of a deal that it is for us to become shepherds, because like we say Yahusha is our shepherd, this and that all the time. And we can't say that and then say we want to be like Yahusha and we don't even want to be a shepherd. We can't say we want to be like Dawood and not want to be a shepherd. That don't add up. Dawood, that's what Dawood started as. And hold on. This is why I was listening to I think it's the First Kingdom lesson. And Malek was talking about how being a shepherd is the first thing you got to do. You got to be a shepherd before anything, because that's what gives you free. That's what frees you from this captivity. First of all, and second of all, it's also connected to being selfless. So that's what the thing that my dad was saying about the bull is. It's so much ruachal ties to them being a shepherd as an abomination. The bull represents pride. So us killing the bull, that's like killing. That's us killing pride. That's us. That's like being a shepherd is being selfless. That's the opposite of pride. That's a complete. That's why that's another reason why it's an abomination to them. So that was another big thing. And Miss Ryan, that's literally what Miss Ryan. That was them. That was their whole thing. And hold on. Con, that's it. I'll praise the Most High.
Yeah, I was telling me about it though. I ain't even know it was out. Yeah, it's wild. Dang, yeah. I was gonna say something on what you said, but I forgot. Ima Oria, this is the lies they tell. Yes, the Great Depression affected Black Americans more severely than any other group of Americans. Oh, that's what they say. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's not true. God, yeah, I know what you're saying. You're saying that's the lie. Yeah, no, you spot on with that, because yeah, my great grandfather, now he was alive during that time, but it wasn't nothing like that for them. They had all that land out there in Mangrove, Alabama, and I've talked to all of them about them. I don't want to say all of them, majority of them about that time, and it's just not. That's never come up. That's a real through point. I never thought about it. I just, never connected the dots there. Nathaniel, the reason why shepherding was an abomination to the Egyptians was because they worshiped those animals. They thought it was evil for them to shepherd or rule over their gods. It was evil for them to shepherd to rule over their. Shepherding is about. Oh, okay. I get it. Khan, I got it. Hallelujah. Imayasha. So, if they worshiped the animals, did they not eat them? If not, why did they have flocks? Yeah, they didn't eat them.
So it depends. So yeah, it depends. Now, if you look at with the calf worship, people who are in the calf worship, they wasn't eating the calves, but they would have a bunch of them because they worshiped them. They're like these great pets, I guess. I don't know, but like when you go to India, where the calf worship is big, they have flocks. And the streets be filled with cows and bulls.
They just be walking around.
Yeah.
You better not hit them.
Yeah.
You better not hit them. You go to jail. Yeah, you be in some trouble if you hit them.
Yeah.
What you talking about? Oh, okay.
Yes, the famine was of grain, but it would have affected probably the meat too because the grazers, don't have food. Because remember the dream that Pharaoh had was the cows were lean, they were skinny. So it would kind of be a chain reaction type of thing, yeah.
Bethel. I had a student in the middle school from Nepal. She was not allowed to eat beef.
There you go, see? Yeah.
The people, or is that Nepal? That might be Nepal. It's Nepal. I said it right. Hallelujah. She was not allowed to eat beef. The people gave the girl beef at the school for lunch one time. She was devouring that burger. Yeah, that's funny.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I used to work with a lot of Indians, and they don't skip no cheeseburgers. Not the ones I worked with, at least. They didn't. They wasn't
not
like.
true. They're not true to their
Yeah, no, they wasn't skipping no cheeseburger, man.
Well, the thing about India, we got to remember that India is huge. There's a lot of different people groups there, so you got a lot of Indians who are Islamic. They'll eat a cheeseburger real quick. That's true. But them Indians that are into that Buddhism stuff, man, that's where they get into that animal worship.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Ima Oria, Joseph. He was taught the ways of the Egyptians. That showed us that we won't be counted if we stay in the ways of Babylon. Oh, because he wasn't counted as one of the 12. I see. I see what you're saying there. Radayahu, there's no such thing as passing all the tests. There's no such thing as passing all of the tests. There's always room for ascension. Even the kings were constantly tested by Yahuwah.
That's real.
Yeah. You got it.
Yeah, that's real.
I'm gonna just say this real quick. I was thinking about this after I said this, and like Yahuwah doesn't test us just so he can know if we were gonna pass or fail the test. Like Yahuwah already knows whether we was gonna pass or fail the test. He gives us these tests so that we can ascend. It's the test ain't really just for him, just so he can know, oh, through job you passed. Like that's not why he does that. So he's gonna keep testing. Like he was still testing Dawood. Dawood was a king for how long? He tested Dawood with when he went and did what he did. He tested Saul too. He was testing kings, people who were had bountiful, a whole lot of blessings. Hallelujah.
And a lot of times it's going to be the same test. It might look a little different, but it's going to be the same test. And every time you fail it, it's going to come back around again.
Yeah, that's script too. He say, I let you go 3 days without food and water so that you might know, not so that he would know. Okay, Ima Oria. I prayed that in prayer not to be relaxed because we still have to be watchful. Khan, that's it, Ima. I saw this girl with holes in her skin with the flesh eating. Oh, yeah, that video. Huh? Yeah. What you mean?
I mean, like sometimes when we talk, we don't never finish saying a word. We just say half a word.
I guess you ain't finished the sentence.
No.
Oh, okay. Okay. Hallelujah. I got it. Flesh eating disease. I got you now. Okay. Yeah. I just, it's. I ain't gonna say it. All right, Hezekiah Yahoo. Hey, you know what? We just love y'all. That's all it is. Because we just learned to interpret what y'all saying. Like, I knew exactly what you meant, Ima. I was with you. I'll be doing that with Ima Schiffer, too. Yeah, I got you.
So you know what I'm talking about.
All right, Hezekiah. Oh, man. People even be on horse tranquilizer. Yeah. I didn't know that's what that was. Percocet. I didn't know that. No, fentanyl. I'm sorry, fentanyl. Nathaniel, a drug actually does this to your skin. It's called Trank. It's basically fentanyl laced with horse tranquilizer. Mushal mentioned it on one of the drug prep day teachings. Khan. Those said a lot of drugs are coming in from China. That is in the east, and they are causing death and destruction. The east wind is the scripture. The east wind in the scriptures is associated with death and judgment/destruction. Khan. That's pretty interesting right there. My uncle in Houston, this is Imaoya. My uncle in Houston has a well. He been in the same house for years. Radayahu. He said people glorify killing other people, but let somebody rap about killing some dogs. Nah, you getting banned instantly. Peter gonna be all everywhere, boy. Oh yeah, Michael Vick. They still give him a hard time. Yeah.
He done already did it. He done did everything he was supposed to do. He done did his time. They still, boy, that was. They gave him they blackballed him under the, man, they tore him up over that.
Yeah, that was crazy, man.
They tore him up. But the thing about, so I talked about this on the prep day call about the glorifying rap. So the people who are rapping about killing and all that stuff, man, ain't that crazy how none of the government officials are outraged. People literally rapping about murder. Committing murders and everything. There's no outrage. I remember that. That was it. Because NWA, They started something on purpose. It was something that they were. I do believe they were planted there on purpose. It was the the ish people who had propped them up and pushed them, and it was downhill after that. And so even when you watch the NWA movie, you see who the one who blew them up. I mean, it was the ish people. But it just shows you that there's definitely something behind that. It's definitely, there ain't no outrage. You literally doing music about committing crimes in all your songs. And no outrage. Like city council, city governor, something. Because as soon as it slowly, just a little bit crept into Russia, boy, what's his name, shut that down quick, Putin. It's like, oh no, this is, no, America, oh no, this is stupid. This is helping destroying the black folks. It's stupid.
Back when NWA, when they first came out and people were petitioning, or government or whatever, I only remember Maxine Waters, who was a Hebrew. She the only one I remember ever coming out about anything on them. Maybe it was others, but I only remember her.
Yeah, I remember her.
That was the reason why they don't say nothing, because that was something that the government wanted them to do, because they had just opened all of these private prisons and they needed to fill the prisons. And so they went to those record companies and asked them to do that so that they could fill up those prisons.
Like, think about it. Do y'all remember, so a lot of y'all are old enough, we was talking about this on Yom Shishi. A lot of y'all remember when Back That Thing came out with Juvenile. So when the vaccines was being pushed, they had Juvenile and them come out and redo the song. And it was called Vax That Thing Up. Now listen, they giving away what they doing, y'all.
Nah, he is not lying. This is the truth.
Yeah, they giving away what they doing. Yeah, see, it was serious.
He had a whole video.
So listen. What is that showing y'all? So everybody saw through when he did the Vax That Thing Up. Everybody, oh no, they just trying to get black people to do the vaccine. Because what was happening was there was an issue with black people was not trying to get the vaccine. That's what it was. It was during that time when all the COVID stuff, and black folks was like, man, I don't trust that. And so the nations, it's easy to see this. Got together, we got to figure out a way to get more black people to get vaxxed. Oh, I got an idea. Back That Thing Up would been a #1 hit, #1 top charting hit for I don't know how many years. Let's get them to do a remix. They probably paid Juvie and them crazy money to do that, to sell out like that. But this is showing y'all how they use music, how they using the musicians, the rappers and stuff to target you, to try to destroy you, to get you to do stuff you're not supposed to be doing. Somebody brought up the Percocet song because it was a chant where they chanting about it's just about drugs. That's all you remember. And what it does, it gets people to do drugs. Who? Our people. This is our children that's listening to the music, and it makes them think it's cool to do this stuff. They know that stuff works. How come don't nobody in the truth music? There's people in the truth music who have way better music than the dude that did Molly Percocet. Way better music. How come ain't none of them getting signed? How come none of the ish people signing them? They can make the ish people just as much as money as somebody who's rapping about killing and doing and all this stuff. Because there's an agenda. They're trying to keep you in a certain level. And they gave it away. They didn't know they did this, but they gave it away with the Vax That Thing Up. They gave it away. They showing you this is what they've been doing the whole time. The Vax That Thing Up, it was just so obvious. It was just crazy. It was just ridiculous. But that's what they was doing the whole time, y'all. They are old trying to do this song. I'm like, man, this is crazy. I'm like, how you gonna sell out like that, man? Somebody need to. Who told you to do this? There was a dude out there to do that. But probably what it was that money. They probably offered them a lot of money to sell out like that. Yeah, man. You know. Man.
Double honors and honors to where it's due. Salute to Ms. Parker. I was just going to say they did the same thing with crack cocaine, where they used the crack cocaine to flood our neighborhoods, and then they used the money to pay for the Nicaraguan war. So it's been going on for years.
So she's talking about the Nicaraguan war. So I talked about that too, and I don't know if you saw the drug series I did, but I got into all that. It's the same. That's exactly what happened. You know, so yeah, this stuff is crazy. It's so like what's happening is the Most High is starting to expose a lot of this stuff that was going on, and y'all starting to see how diabolically wicked the nations have been towards us, so that we can see that this is really a captivity. Because some of man, I'm telling you, some of us, no, I got a good job, and this ain't no captivity. I'm happy here, you know, and all this stuff. And your children, but your children, but you're dealing with your children. Your son smoking weed every day. You don't know why. Hey, this was on purpose. There was stuff done on purpose to have y'all children or grandchildren moving the way they moving. Oh man, but your cousin or your nephew is in and out of jail, and you just think, oh, he just need to get it together. You know, he just need to get himself together. I don't know what we do. Not realizing that was on purpose. It was systemic stuff done to catch him in that. You see what I'm saying? That probably would have never happened if y'all were not here, if y'all were somewhere else, not in this captivity. But nevertheless, it's just important. We keep going.
All right, so 5:52. Jeez, all right, we're gonna have to we got to go. Man, y'all going in. All right, Bethel said, I saw a guy online talking about the fires in Cali and referenced the pets that lost their homes, displaced pets. That's how serious it is. What in the world? I'm sorry, y'all. This is hilarious to me. Like, this stuff is funny to me. Shama said, crappie was the staple fish for our family reunions. It tastes stew, too. I ain't never heard of that. Crappie?
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, that crappie was fire.
Crappie. Oh. Okay. Crappie. That just don't sound like nothing I want to try.
Man, them mugs is fire, man.
You want some of this crappie? Nah, I'm through. Yeah. I don't know crappie. Keep that crap over there. All right. Imayasha. I've seen several scripts that talk about the people buying water. Looking at us in this captivity, we are still buying water.
Man.
Oh, yeah, when they was traveling through the wilderness, it's like, man, we'll buy the water that we get from you. It's a through reference. Ima Angie. It's actually beneficial to have animals when you have your own acreage and are outside of city limits. You can get exemptions. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's all kind of benefits like that. That's a great point. Great point. We need to look into that too.
If you get cows and goats, you don't really have to cut the grass like that.
Yeah.
Remember we was on a tour and one dude told us about that because he would rotate his livestock and just never cut the grass. Like, that's a blessing.
Yeah, and there was there's also something surrounding with solar, some benefits that they give people with land against solar. So we're gonna be looking into that too. But yeah, there's a lot of benefits and tax, yeah, all kind of stuff. So yeah, I had to look into that one.
And she said that's unlike being in the city. Daoud said city in Egypt was the first projects. City in Egypt was the first. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Imayasha said land backing on Bakir Ezra Hadassah. Mushal spoke on not having land equating to slavery. Man, yeah, he just went into that right after that. Shama, where I moved from, I was able to put a garden in my backyard. I built it and planted food with help and then moved here shortly afterwards.
Oh, that's real through. Yeah, that's through.
Yeah, in the backyard, that's through. We had a garden in our backyard too. We messed around and put some flowers in the front yard. They had a fit. For real. They had bushes. We pulled them up, and I was like, man, flowers would be beneficial. They disagreed. Yeah, the HOA, they got us. Hezekiah Yahoo said land backing. I saw that. Land backing on what Bakir Ezer Hadassah said about being virtual slaves if we don't have our own land. Since there is a mass fires in California, whole cities are being burned down and some houses are surviving, but everything else is burnt down. So people are complaining because everything they depend on is burnt down. Example, grocery stores, banks, gyms, etc.
Yeah, that's a big point right there, y'all. That's a huge point. Because, I remember when that freeze hit in 2020 and all the grocery stores was closed and it was COVID when COVID hit is what I'm talking about. I think it's a little bit of both. But, man, there was stuff that just wasn't in the grocery stores. Like, we would go to the grocery store, I just wouldn't have nothing sometimes. Wasn't no toilet paper, wasn't no water. And so I would have to go, like, literally, I try to go before they open, and it'll be y'all, some of y'all might have dealt with that during that time. It'll be a line wrapped around the building waiting to get water and toilet paper. And you know what happens? They're like, you can only get a minimum of 2 packs of water, a minimum of 2 things of toilet paper. So I literally had to go, and I would wait in line for hours, y'all, at HEB to get 2 things of water, 2 things of toilet paper with 6 children. That stuff is gone. That stuff is gone in one day. That junk was crazy. And so yeah, just depending on, just imagine, that wouldn't have been a thing if you have your own land, your own animals and stuff. That just wouldn't have been as much as a thing. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, everything we're talking about is real. They came up with a movie about it. It's called Homestead, the one I was telling you about. They had like this nuclear bomb that caused everywhere else to be on fire. And everybody was trying to go to these one people house. They had so much land. They had crops. They had like a whole system. It was like everything. They was trying to come to them to try to get food. They was trying to get grains. But they had it so stockpiled up to where it was just like everybody only was trying to come to them to buy it. And it reminded me of the Torah portion, how with the dream, everybody tried to come to them, to Mizraim, to get all of the goods.
Yeah, I have watched this series. And his family, his black family, they had a successful business, but they also sold drugs. They made their own drug, and it was a pill form. It gave you the same high as marijuana, but not the side effects. So people were able to still function. But then they had some people who was trying to get the formula, so they was using their drug to try to create a different drug. And the drug that they created, when people would take it, they took too much of it, it would kill them. And so that reminded me of what you were talking about when they were lacing the drug with the other thing, yeah.
Dang, that's crazy, because I was talking about that on Yom Shishitos as well, because the fallen ones taught men how to make drugs. That's what Enoch says. They taught man pharmakia, so they the ones who taught mankind how to make that. And I was talking about how that's dominion. You see what I'm saying? How the only people the fallen ones are going to be giving that information to is people that they're in covenant with. And like, oh man, that's crazy. Because I was asking, like, man, just think about if you was able to come up with the next new drug. That's major dominion. Major dominion. So yeah, that's just interesting that you brought that out.
Yep. And backing on what Bakir Uriah was saying, if you think about it, having land and livestock, like that's regenerative wealth, you know? Yeah, because with your land, you have your crops, you have over and over and over again, and with your livestock, over and over, you have cycles over and over again. So, yeah, I was just thinking about that when she was talking. All right. You said what?
I said because they teach their children.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why you got people now who got land from way back. Old money.
We at 601. Ema Angie. Some people who are homesteading are now leaving a section of their garden to grow what Babylon considers quote unquote weeds. They know how nutritious some are. That's interesting. Ema Yasha. No mineral rights in the neighborhoods either. Oil, gold, natural resources found in your yard is not yours. Your land ain't your land. Ema Angie. I used to think HOAs were through, but they're like bullies now. They can actually take your property from you if you're in violation of one of their ordinances, or if you don't pay them. Yeah, I went through that too. I was like, hey, I'm not paying no HOA. Nah. They said, yes, you are. And I said, yes, I am. You're absolutely right. Yeah, I paid. I was in rebellion. I call this. My dad's friends had a house built afterwards. My dad's friend had a house built. Afterward, they found out that it was too tall. They couldn't live in it until they got the approval. It was just sitting. I'm not sure if they ever got to move into it. That's tough. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, I just want to speak on the HOA being bullies. I have a friend who's a lawyer and in Dallas, and he built his home. He had bought land, built his home on it. But later, they created a neighborhood around where his house is at. And the HOA was literally trying to force him to be a part of the HOA because his house was in the neighborhood. And because he was a lawyer, of course, he won, you know. But that's just the level of bullying. If somebody wasn't aware of the legal system, they would have felt like they had no choice but to join.
You remember when I was trying to pay my HOA dues? You ain't said nothing about no lawyer friend in Dallas. You could have asked. All right. I'm part of the problem. Okay. All right, let me keep going. Bethel Saviahu. My grandfather built a 3-story house that is the quote-unquote family house. That the family goes to when they go back to the islands. He was a masonry builder. Oh my goodness. Okay. He added 2 cisterns in the house to catch rainwater to not have to depend on the city. And there were a bunch of fruit trees everywhere around the house. Those are some things that I wish I picked up on when I was younger. The things I took for granted.
I try not to say anything so we can hurry up. But to what she was saying about the importance of taking things for granted, that's what we do with the things, the lessons, the teachings, the wisdom that is being given, the essential need to ascend, the essential need to be able to pass tests. We take for granted the things that are needed. Then when the tests come, that's when you're not using the tools that were given to pass the test.
Me too. Mushala said, oh, about Egypt being the first project. She said, Khan, government housing. Bagheera Luvubal. During the Depression, it didn't affect us as much because most of us were already in the Poe house. Hey, we just like, hey, welcome. Welcome. I call this. According to current data, black landowners in America make up less than 1% of farmland ownership in the country, meaning they own a very small percentage of total land in the United States.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a statistical rule about that. It's like I think it's like the 33%, like 33% of the population owns 30. I don't want to say it. I'm gonna mess it up. I'll keep going. Daoud. According to, it's the same thing. Okay, I'll read it because you put it. According to available data, African Americans own less than 1% of the land in the United States, with most land ownership concentrated among the white Americans who own over 98% of the country's land. Wow.
So now you see why they're so outraged when they see us out there as a landowner with that type of freedom.
Nah, this is huge, y'all. This is huge. Because this was done systemically, number one. And there are a lot of benefits, like Ima Angie was saying, that come with owning land. So that's why we need to take advantage of those benefits, because see, the reality is those benefits that they give the landowners that, that really were to benefit them. Yeah.
Okay, it's the 80-20 rule. It's the Pareto principle. That's what it is. It's 80% of the wealth is owned by 20% of the population. So that's actually super high. Like statistically speaking, that 98% is owned by white Americans. That's I mean, maybe it makes sense to some extent because I mean I'm sure mostly Romans owned Rome, mostly Grecians owned Greece. So maybe it makes sense. It's just that's what I was just about to say. It's just we believe, we believe we Americans. Malek talked about this in his latest teaching too. Ima Oria, a lot of us are getting land and the other nations is doing all they can to run them off their land, doing things to make it uncomfortable for them to live there. Shoshone said Flint, Michigan. Yeah. Yeah, this was one of my favorite comments. A caller said, "Don't be Sadiddy, get out the city." That should be a slogan, man. We need to pin that. Don't be Sadiddy, get out the city. I know, you put a guitar to that one. Ima Oria, to get our people land, they loaned them money that they couldn't pay back and took the land. No, that's what happened with the Freedmen's Bureau. So in like 1865 through like 69, what happened is the Freedmen's Bureau was created to help slaves, it's quote unquote to help slaves, but really all it was the North creating a institution where newly released slaves after 1865 could go down to the South and purchase land. But what would wind up happening is at some point after the war, they said, hey, we got to actually take care of this stuff. And you had the Northerners are like, man, nah, y'all did that in war. That's a wartime thing. So long story short, it's a lot that happened, but long story short, they said, well, we're going to shut the Freedmen's Bureau down. So they corrupted it. They had people stealing money. And what happened is the people who used that money to buy their lands, they could no longer afford the land because they were trying to give that 40 acres and a mule. But then they said that was a wartime benefit and we're not in war, so we're not going to provide that no more. So you had all these black people that own lands that could no longer keep up with it. So that's when they actually started moving into the cities. Yeah. It was like 1869, 1870. Ima Angie, Ima Angie. In LA, by where I grew up, the projects were Nickerson Gardens in Jordan Downs. I've heard of that before.
Yeah, me too. I heard of both of those. Yeah.
It do sound like some black names. Sound like some basketball players, don't it? I heard the projects were actually developed from a scientific project conducted with mice. They crowded their living quarters to see the effects, and pretty much the same behaviors the mouse displayed, the people did also. Yeah, Malek Yahushua should talk about that. It was actually a generational move where they were affecting bloodlines because you perpetuate what's in your DNA. Ima Oya, digging in the computer on my job, they have free classes to get a trade building, houses, electrical, etc. Man, yeah, we have something like that too. It's interesting. Bakir Luv Ubal, we are still in financial slavery according to the scriptures. Come on now. Proverbs 22:7, the borrower is servant to the lender. That's huge. That's huge. We've been trying to work on that, getting out of debt. It's slavery. It's slavery. Ima Angie, yes, I think this is where their generational wealth comes into play. In referring to Shoshone, when you said about the 19-year-old person. Uriel, herdsman is a general term for someone who takes care of a variety of animals. Shepherding is like a specialty within herding animals. Okay. Like you have a family doctor that sees for generational issues, but then you oh my goodness. All right, my apologies. Let me try again. I heard her say, what? I was like, uh-oh. All right. Like you have a family doctor that sees for general issues, but then, yeah, I did. But then you got a cardiologist that focuses on the heart. You better learn at your job. Hallelujah. It's interesting because there's actually a difference between sheep herding and shepherding. Sheep herders just manage moving the sheep around general things regarding sheep. Shepherding is more intimate care for the well-being of the sheep, building trust, etc. Man, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
I didn't know both of those words were a thing like that. Bakir Ezra Hadassah said, Khan, that's why getting out of debt is so important. Facts. Right, love, you right on it. Ima Angie, I think that's what's going on now with the fires in California. They're forcing people into the cities. I heard that a great deal of those people who have lost or losing their house didn't have insurance to cover fire because the insurance companies dropped them a few months ago. I believe it's due to something the state said. Oh, that's terrible. Hezekiah Yahoo from Zarayahu. When we first got on the topic of famines, I asked Yahya if the Great Depression was just a famine, and then he said yes. Right after that, Mushal said the Great Depression was a famine. Man, y'all be knowing what he talking about. Come on. Bakir Lufubal. When my father needed money, he would sell some of his livestock or some land. When you have land and livestock, you have true wealth. Wow. By being brought up in the country, I experienced this firsthand. Ima Oria put a picture and said how to catch crappie. Tips for fishing.
Yeah, that's a super big one for a crappie. That's super big.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The crappie they're a lot smaller than that.
Shama said during COVID, they were letting only a handful of people in at a time, maybe 5 to 7 people in the whole store at one time.
Yeah, that's why that line was so long. That was crazy, waiting outside.
Bethel from the roar. Going back to the influence that music had on our people, one of my family members is from a 2-parent household and from the suburbs, but it was like the music he listened to started to manifest in him. He joined a gang, has been back and forth from prison. He made people who actually lived that type of life look like they were the counterfeit. Oh, man, he was out there like that? Wow. Yeah, man, that's a... No, that's a through point. I'll be quick, but, you know, we're taught to glorify struggle, That's why Aruka took so long for a lot of people, because we taught that the trauma is the thing that makes you special and makes you unique, not the healing. Because if you're healed and you don't have the trauma, then where's the attention come from? So it's really the same thing that we brought into the truth. That's why we just have to look at them things. But all right,
Yeah, no, it's really a through point. Cause somebody who can read well and who's smart, making all A's, that's the person that making fun of. Oh, there's something wrong with you. Think you better than everybody, you know. The smart person gets looked down upon in our community. But man, you go to jail, you have like the person who come out of jail, he get a bigger party than the person who graduated college. For real. He get a big come home, but back, welcome back, duty, man.
Shoshone Khan was in Dallas a couple years ago selling solar panels to a family had 40 acres of land. They used their cows to walk around the grass so they didn't have to pay someone to cut the grass, and used the cow poop for fertilizer. Had chickens, cows, dogs, sheep, goats. Truly a beautiful experience. I told the lady, this is living in Most High willing, I would get to live on some land one day. Wow. The Most High is amazing. All praises to Yahuwah and Yahusha. And Radha Yahu said Mushala is awesome. Who is she at?
I agree with that, but I wish she was here to hear that, to see how she would respond to that. I don't know if she would receive that word.
Shama said, Khan, my sister does that for my brothers. Every time one goes to jail and come home, she has a get-together and buys clothes and shoes for them. Man, yeah.
That's a real thing.
All praise to the Most High. That's everything.
Hallelujah, man. Well, all praise to the Most High. We're going to get it in, y'all.
Rebirth of a nation. Hebrew kingdom building.